Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin. Alan Ruff, Tam McManus are here with me. Delighted to have your company. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. You'll get all the content that we have on our YouTube channel. It's not just the Football Show, so much more, and across our website and app you'll get all the breaking football stories. Hopefully you can enjoy also on a regular basis the chance to win a prize, and today is no different.
It's another fantastic competition from PLZ Soccer. Rangers fans, Celtic fans recognise this jersey. Of course, you've played against them both in European football recently. It's the jersey of RB Leipzig. You can win this by answering the following simple question. What does the RB stand for in RB Leipzig? If you want to double your chances of winning, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's a cracking prize, that one. Over the next few weeks, all the way through to the summer, we've got some brilliant prizes, and lots of people have been sending us messages back, delighted when they've won something in the competition. So we're really happy that you are indulging in that. And if you want to double your chances, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Share it with your friends. Tell everybody that we're here, because we're growing bigger and bigger right across all our content. Tomorrow morning, Kerry will be there with a preview with Ruffy and Tam, and then Tam and I will be, of course, in the studio later on in the day, getting ready to bring you the half-time, full-time scores and reaction from managers and players in the Scottish Premiership. Just diving in for the first bit of news, Chris Doolan appointed permanent manager Ruffy at Partick Thistle, replacing Ian McCall, of course.
Yeah, there's still a lot to play for in the Championship. 7 points off the top. I think you need a bit of stability in there. The players have responded for the Rangers game, with 2-3 good results. They draw away at Arbroath. So you want to build on that. Wraith Rovers is a big game tomorrow, and 4 big ones after that. I mean, they're all big ones, but there's still a chance. I've always said this is the best year of all the years before to get promotion. I don't think there's a big noise in there, like Dundee United, Kilmarnock or whatever. And it's up to the boys, to really keep the forum going.
Yep, Chris has been on the show as well. Good lad. He's got a great history at Partick Thistle as well as a player.
Yes, he certainly has. I think he's a 4th top goal scorer in the history of the club, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's a big step for him, obviously being from the academy to be the main man, but he seems to be able to handle it particularly well. Yeah,
okay. We wish him the very best of luck. Hi to Errol, Lee Shanley, Bob, Niall, Johnny, as well as Mary, who's joined us, Jim, Thomas, Paddy. You never know. It's
maybe my wife.
It could be. You never know. Just keeping an eye on you, just making sure you're where you say you are. Hugh as well, Peter and Scott. Lots of people joining us, and we really do thank you for showing your support to us, and well done with everybody getting involved in the competition as well. Lots to talk about as far as the Scottish Premiership is concerned. Of course, the big question is, how are Rangers going to respond after losing the League Cup final, going back to the league and trying to just lift everybody at Ibrox for the game against Kilmarnock? Well, the big body blow, Tam, is Tom Lawrence out for the season for Rangers, which again, off the back of some of the other injuries as well. You wonder about Kemar Roof, and what's the future for him too. There's been 2 or 3 players that just haven't been able to shake off injuries.
Yeah, I think that's a real pity for the player and for the club. I think he looked the part when he first came in. I think he scored against, was it USG in the Champions League qualifiers. He looked really, really good. He looked as if he was going to be the guy who could get you 15, 20 goals from midfield. He was that type of player, arriving late in the box. So he's missed basically the whole of the season, and he's not going to be back until the back end of pre-season. So that's big. I think if you can get a pre-season under your belt, then I think you'd be okay. But if he's not going to be back until maybe July, August, that's a huge blow, because he came in and I think he'll be on decent money at Rangers, and he came in a free, and Rangers pushed the boat out to get him. There's a lot of teams interested, so that's a real body blow for Rangers and their fans, I think.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for Kemar Roof, because when he is in the side, he looks a threat, Ruffy. He can score goals, as we've seen on many occasions, but this is a thigh problem, which he's going to try and get a specialist to get to the bottom of it. But you just have to look at the start. Six appearances all season. He's missed 5,040 minutes of action, and it's only 56 games in total since signing for Rangers. Not good, is it?
No, we spoke about it the other day there. I think the Rangers manager will be looking for players who are possibly a wee bit more consistent than that. It's no player's fault to pick up injuries. You're either a player who gets away with it or you don't. But that'll be something that Rangers will be looking at. They'll be looking at players coming in, whether it's younger players who don't seem to pick up the same amount of injuries. But let's hope he has come back, because I enjoy watching him, and I think we all remember the goal in the European game.
Yeah.
So he's got something.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Beale said that none of his players that are out of contract in the summer have been offered new deals, which is an interesting one, because you've got Morelos, you've got Kent, Arfield, McGregor, Davis, Jack and Helander. So if you look at that, that's 3, 6, 7.
I think it ties in with what I spoke about on Monday. I think that Rangers will get rid of 10, 12 players this summer. I think they'll have a clear out. I think in terms of Kent and Morelos, I think they've just said, listen, I'm not interested in signing a new deal. I'm going to take my chances as a free agent. I think the other ones are all in the balance. So there's 7 right away. All of them could leave the club in the summer. Tillman could go back to Bayern Munich. There's 8. You only need to get rid of 2 or 3, and it's a major clear out. So no, I think that Michael Beale wants to shape his own team and his own squad, and I think he's got the perfect opportunity now. There's nothing worse as a manager when you come into a team and you inherit guys that are on 2 and 3 year deals. It's very difficult to shift them. He could give a blank canvas in the summer, and he goes and takes his pick. Him and Ross Wilson, the recruitment team, they go and sign 4 or 5 quality players, and they keep the guys that he wants.
Yeah, well, Ruffy, you and I, and not Tam, but you and I have actually lived through 3 9-in-a-rows. One for Celtic, one for Rangers, and then another one for Celtic. But this time, I read sometimes managers' quotes, and I just think it's a bit of deja vu. Because I remember when Rangers were so dominant in their 9-in-a-row period, a lot of people actually forget that Celtic were not the team that they were competing against. It was Aberdeen. 6 out of the 9 leagues, Aberdeen were the force, not Celtic. Celtic were couldn't even challenge them with their financial muscle. And Michael Beale said Rangers are competing against the odds, against Celtic's financial muscle now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It changes through the years. You've just got to hope that the people that are running the club are running it properly. I think Celtic have learnt their lesson. The way they were working financially, they've changed it round a wee bit now. It's Rangers' turn to chase them, because we keep talking about what Rangers are going to do, but we're not talking about what Celtic are going to do. We're not talking about what Ange has got in mind, because as we've said on the show on numerous occasions, they've got the cash if he was to want to go out and splash it, So we'll have to wait and see. As Tam said there, we'll have to see what players leave and what kind of players come in for Rangers.
Michael Beale obviously tries to keep a calm head after a defeat like this. Some people obviously just go a wee bit over the top, and for some people, when you lose a derby like the one on Sunday, their world comes crashing down around them. But Michael Beale is looking a little further ahead rather than just one game that they've lost in the cup final.
It's very rare in football that you lose one in so many, and obviously there'd be a lot of such huge opinion divided, I would say. We have to keep moving forward. There was a reason why I came in. That was the 90th day that I was in the job on Sunday. I think we've made steady progress. It's clear we need to jump again. And at the same time, we need to continue to win football matches.
Steady progress.
Yeah.
It's only one defeat.
No, it's only one defeat, but I think he realises now that one defeat against Celtic is the end of the world in Glasgow. I think that you can go and beat all the rest and be on a good run of form, but when you run into Celtic, you've got to beat them, or else the fans are not going to be happy. And you can see the fallout from it. His formation, his team selection, everything's been questioned. Whereas before that, everything in the garden was rosy. So if he didn't realise, he realises now that second is nowhere in Glasgow. He's got to win, and he's got to beat Celtic to win things. And right now they look a fair bit away for Celtic.
Yeah, well, some people would contest that with you. Lundstrom certainly doesn't feel as if there's a huge gap. It's all about perception. It's all about playing in these games and getting a feel for it. Do you think there's a huge gap? Can Rangers turn over 9-10 players, bring in the quality they need to try and wrestle that title back off Celtic? Or will Ange Postecoglou be looking towards the Champions League group stages with the financial muscle and reward that brings, and then just again push further on? If anything, if you want a confidence boost, Ruffy, Rangers against Kilmarnock is the perfect thing to give you the confidence, because I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, they sit in 11th in the table and they don't look like a side brimming with any kind of confidence, do they?
No, particularly away from home. You know, the record's there for everybody, and I think Derek McInnes keeps bringing it up as well. He needs to rectify it, not particularly against Rangers, but against some of the other teams that he's done there fighting with. He needs to start going away from home and beating them. I think it's going to be a backs to the wall at the weekend. I think Rangers players will come out fired up because of what happened last week. I think the fans will be fired up as well. So I think it's going to be a torrid 90 minutes for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, okay. What are you going for in this?
I went for 3-0 in this game.
Yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah, 3-0 as well, comfortable.
Did you go 3-0 too?
Yeah, I think I went 3-0 as well. 3 or 4.
Okay, well, I might as well go 2-0. I haven't put my predictions in yet, Ruffy, but
Remember.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I know, that's the worst thing about it. You lose all your points. I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers. I think they'll bounce back, but obviously I think Rangers fans will be just looking and thinking longer term. I think the Rangers fans will be looking and saying, okay, and here's a question, I just wonder about this. They want to win the Scottish Cup. Because there's been no discussions with anybody about contracts or anything like that, because of the comments that he made about he knows the players that he now wants, will some players switch off because they know their time's coming to an end, or can he get every ounce out of them to the end of the season?
I think it's a tricky situation to win, Peter. I think that there'll be players at Rangers now who have already agreed to we're deal with another club. I think you've got guys, potentially Ryan Jack, guys like that, who are out of contract, Ryan Kent, Morelos, who have possibly agreed something with someone else. They know they're not going to beat Rangers. Are you going to get 100% out of those guys, flying into tackles and they're out of contract the week after the Scottish Cup final? I don't know. They're in the short window maybe to try and get themselves a better move, so it can work both ways, but I think you want continuity, you want people that know they're going to be there long term, and Rangers have got a lot of players, a lot of uncertainty about who's going to be there next season, and I don't think that's going to help.
Okay, and Chris Bain has just mentioned on the feed here, he says Rangers can easily go and buy 10 quality players, but the only thing is, where is the 50 million coming from, as they haven't made a profit in 10 years? That's the big question, I think, for the summer. How many players does he want to bring in? Are they the right quality? Has he got a big enough budget to do that? And I think, regardless of people who, and you know what it's like with the banter of fans who clobber each other with you've got money, you've not got money, or whatever, the reality is you just wait and see, Ruffy, and you say, okay, how many are they going to sign? Who's all going? The proof is in the pudding, and your eyes don't deceive you when he eventually has to turn that squad over.
Yeah, they'll be having meetings as we speak. There'll be the board and the manager will say, look, he'll be telling, although he's not telling us what he's going to be doing, he's got to tell the board, because they've got to prepare themselves, for what he wants, and he'll be going to them saying, look, this is the kind of player I want to bring in, this is what it's going to cost me, who do we have to go off the wage bill to bring these kind of players in, what kind of players that we're bringing in are going to be on the save wage bill or less. We've got to trim it a wee bit, because Rangers did, I know they spent money, in certain players, but the majority of the players they brought in were on wages. So I would imagine the wages were the buying point, to bring players to the club. So you have to look at that side of it as well. The players that you're identifying, where are they coming from? Are they coming from an area that is going to be way out of their wage bracket? Because if they're coming from England, they're going to be on more money than what they are up here.
Yeah, okay, it'll be interesting to see what market Rangers decide to go and search for some of the players. Before we go on to St Mirren Celtic, I forgot all about the quiz. There's a big game on down south, Liverpool against Manchester United, which brings me nicely to our quiz question. What is Liverpool's biggest ever victory over Manchester United? Do you want to hazard a guess? Is that Anfield?
7-1.
7-1?
6-0.
6-0. Okay, it'll be interesting to see what you guys. And the good news is, at the bottom end of our computer, I put in a wrong score just to see if Bonzo read it, and I knew right away. I thought right away I'll put in a wrong score just to see if he reads it, because I usually flick down and he reads everything. And funnily enough, I met a couple of guys.
Yeah, it was Tuesday night.
Was it Tuesday night? Wasn't it amazing? Go on, tell him, Ruffy.
On Tuesday night, there was some guests at the promotion that we were doing, and they said, "What's Tam always looking at Peter's computer for?" Because he's a cheat.
Yeah, absolutely. And he said, and the boy said to us, I mean, he fires out facts that there's no way he knows, and then we watch him, and he just looks there and he reads your computer. It's incredible.
Research.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, he used to with Gordon Smith. It was incredible. Okay, we'll give you the answer at the end of the programme. St Mirren against Celtic. Is it a case of deja vu? Can St Mirren replicate what they achieved earlier in the season? Will Ange make huge changes similar to that time in the Smeetsa Stadium in Paisley? Reo Hatate, Player of the Month for February, 3 league wins, 1 Scottish Cup win, and the League Cup final win as well, Ruffy. He really has been a standout, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, I've already put my mark on him for Player of the Year. I think he's justified that.
You think he'll be Player of the Year?
Yeah, he'll be in the 4. He'll definitely be in the 4. And
is he your choice?
He's my choice, yeah. Yeah, I think he's been absolutely superb this year. I think he's been brilliant. Heads and shoulders. Kyogo starts scoring goals and gets up near 30 or 35, that might sway it. But from, the appearances he's played and the games that he's been so far ahead of everybody else, and the goals that he's scored, yeah, I would have him as my Player of the Year.
Yeah, who's your 4 if you were nominating?
Well,
Shankland?
Yeah, Shankland would be in there. Kyogo,
Hatate, and who else? Anyone else?
I'd leave that one open now, because I can't think of anybody at the moment.
Okay, there might be someone. Well, try and give Ruffy a 4th player, will you? Tam, have you got anybody else in mind? Is there anybody outside?
I think the only one possibly outside would be Miofsky, who's got, I think, 17 goals for Aberdeen.
Oh, he definitely is worth a mention.
He's worth a mention. Yeah. He scored that amount of goals with a smaller team, but I think
McGregor.
Yeah, I think Kyogo, McGregor and Hatate, I think is I mean, it could be a Celtic clean sweep. It really could if Celtic win the treble. Yeah, I don't know when it's voted for, but if Celtic win the treble, I think they'll sweep the boards.
Okay, it's
an Ange manager of the year.
Yeah, it's always good to get a wee flavour of what everybody's thinking. Jason Craig says Moy is my Player of the Year. And we're getting to that point now, because over the next 6 to 8 weeks, the players have to return their slip with the
It used to always be early, the players' player. The PFA used to come in, didn't they? It was well before the end of the season. Yeah. Somebody could have had a bad run, get injured or something, and that's probably why I was never nominated.
The manager one is the tough one.
To be fair, you have to. When you're nominated, it's usually for the club that you were with most of the season before you were released. February, March, you move to another club. It doesn't really count, does it?
And another one just before the end of the season. So you have 3 clubs.
And then, of course, usually clubs buy a table at the PFA if they're still in existence, which is another hindrance if the club goes under, which has been a feature of Tam's life for 70% of them that he's joined. Anyway, were you ever quoted as a nominee for the Hibs Player of the Year?
I was a Young Player of the Year a couple of times. Yeah, Hibs a Young Player of the Year.
You should be proud of that.
Aye, and I think I was in the 4 for Young Player of the Year, once for the Players Player of the Year.
Yeah, have you still got the trophy?
I still got a couple of trophies in the house, Young Player of the Year. I get Player of the Month as well for Hibs.
You should be proud of that, Tam.
Apart from that, not much.
Yeah, and of course it's
Young Player of the Year you got.
I was nominated. I never got it.
You never got it.
Did you win?
Did you win it?
No, I've got 3 Player of the Year ones, the real ones, the Hibs ones.
Brilliant, Ruffy. What we should do is we should just put a baseball bat down there. You just bring it and just scalp him over the head with it. Anyway, listen, even being nominated is good, they say. They usually say that to losers. But 2-0 the last time they visited the St Mirren Stadium. Obviously, I think he made a lot of changes that day. I can't see him doing that. I just think they're on this. I just think they're going through the gears. The confidence is sky high with them.
Yeah, and I don't think Ange will make the same mistake as he done the last time. I think he made too many changes at St Mirren Park, you know, just before an international break, which made it even more crazy. And they paid the price. They were well beaten that day, and that's probably his worst performance. I would think under Ange Postecoglou, that 2-0 defeat, St Mirren deservedly won the game. So Celtic have had a week to recover from the cup final. He probably would have given them a couple of days off to celebrate that final, and then it would probably back into training Tuesday. So they've had plenty of time off, plenty of time to recover, and I think he'll go with his strongest team.
Yeah, and he's well pleased with the mentality of his squad as well.
Yeah, if you look at their performances over the last 18 months and you know their ability to play in the big games, particularly domestically, then you can see that they are growing and sort of taking more and more responsibility out there. But you know, that doesn't mean you get to a point where, you know, that they make all the decisions out there in terms of the way we play.
What do you make of St Mirren? Is it a good season, or is it
I think it's been an excellent season where they are just now, but like every other team, you know, sometimes you kind of keep that level of consistency. They had a right good run there. I think it's just phased off a wee bit now. Like Tam says there, I don't think Celtic will make the same mistake of throwing 5 or 6 in, because the 5 or 6, I think, what I kind of remember is they hadn't really settled in at the club. They weren't sort of getting a game here and there. They were sort of thrown into the deep end. So now everybody's got on his bench. They're regular players now. They're all getting a shot. They're all getting 20, 25 minutes. So I don't think it matters really who he throws in there. I think they'll just be too strong.
Yeah, of course, Stephen Robinson enjoyed that win that day. His players gave him absolutely everything, but I think to replicate that, he knows they're going to have to be at the top of their game.
You need everything to go your way. You know, you need, as I say, the performances that we've had. You need referees' decisions to go your way. You need VAR decisions to go your way, because they're two separate things. And you need, obviously, Celtic not to be right on top of their game, and that goes without saying. Every manager says the same, but we certainly go with a game plan, one we're very well versed in.
Okay, I think Celtic will win this one 3-0.
I've got 2-0 Celtic.
A comfortable 4-0.
4-0?
4-0. I think Celtic
Wow.
too strong. I think the Celtic will think like we will use one for that last game.
Yeah, I like it when you go 4-0, because the odds and the probability increase, Ruffy, and that's the type of thing that does
Yeah,
him
but he
in.
did
Are you
get
on the table right now, Peter?
Yeah.
He did get one.
Are you on the table right now,
Just
Peter?
behind you. Just behind you. Yeah.
Anyway,
He did get a 4-0 once, didn't
Yeah.
he? It was quite recently, wasn't it?
Do you remember that movie, That's Entertainment, Ruffy? It was an MGM movie. I think Gene Kelly was in it, Fred Astaire, lots of big, 50s and 60s, well, 50s and 40s stars were in it. And there was a great song in it that I don't know if you'll remember it. It's called It's Not How You Start, It's How You Finish.
Right.
Yeah. I'll get Tam to look it up on YouTube,
Well, considering I was near the bottom at the start, I had a poor start.
Yeah?
So
as
I
poor
think
as Hugh?
No.
So let's see how it all goes. I would love to be a fly in the wall and wonder what's going through Jim Goodwin's head when eventually he's in the Dundee United dressing room, thinking to himself, okay, I'm now up against Aberdeen. Is there a wee bit of needle in it? Is there a wee bit of...
I think it depends on the individual. He'll remember how he was treated and how, there was that walk across Easter Road and all that, and the way it was all handled. It depends on what kind of memories he's had for the rest of the time that he was there, So there was good moments early on at home. They were winning quite regularly, but it depends on what kind of guy he is. He'll want to win a game. There's no doubt about that. He'll want to win. You always want to win against a team that you used to be managing or playing for.
Yeah, and of course, as a player, there's a lot of people that showed him a lot of hostility because of the way he went about his business. Jim, as a manager, is he expecting pelters? You bet.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to get a hot reception wherever I go. I'm expecting a hot reception from the Dundee United fans as well. So there's not many places I can go in this country, unfortunately, and get applauded onto the park. So maybe St Mirren is one of them, albeit I don't know after the last 12 months whether I'm welcome back there either.
Yeah, I mean, think about if he walks onto the park outside in his back garden, I think he's going to get a good reception. But he's right, everywhere else Jim gets pelters, doesn't he?
I think it's just because the type of player he was. He was a bit of a chopper, to be honest. He liked a tackle, he liked an elbow. So a lot of fans, probably don't like him because of that. But he's one of the players that I think you want in your team rather than against you. A Scott Brown type, somebody that fans love to hate. But no, listen, I think there will be a bit of needle. I think there's got to be a bit of needle. Those players got him the bullet. Let's be honest. I know he signed them, but to lose to Darvel and then 5-0 and 6-0, that is, the players down tools for him. So I'm sure he'd be absolutely desperate to win this game and give them a quiet little, get it up you.
Yeah, absolutely. There you can
get it round you.
There's no other way to put it. I mean, it's football chat, and of course, people are so easily offended. But that's exactly what I'll be thinking. Anyway. You won't be seeing that. You don't see that sort of chat in the BBC, do you? Or Stephen Thompson would need resuscitated, as somebody said, and the producers go,
what did he say?
Offer an apology. Anyway, that's exactly football speak. That's exactly what Jim Goodwin will be thinking. Lee Sharp has joined Jim Goodwin's coaching team at Dundee United. It was announced today as well. So he's putting his backroom team in, and he's got a big job. Bottom of the table, 4 points behind Ross County, and of course Kilmarnock. They want to make sure that they can try and stay in touching distance, Ruffy, until they get to that split, and then it's everyone for themselves.
Yeah, it's one of these ones now when you've got a game against maybe Rangers or Celtic, you're maybe not going to win. The first thing you do is when you come into the dressing room is you find out what the other scores are, because the other scores are important. It's okay saying, we didn't expect to get in today, but if you look over your shoulder and one or two of the teams who are down there where you get a win, a surprise win, it just puts you under added pressure.
Yeah, new CEO Alan Burrows will look this week at outside the usual suspects, is what he's saying, to fill the managerial vacancies. Had a huge amount of people want the job. That's going to be whittled down the next 48 hours. That shortlist, they'll look at it, and he's hoping that they can announce a manager sooner rather than later. So it's going to be an interesting choice. If it's out with the usual suspects, I think we're about to get a new face in Scottish football coming in.
Yeah, possibly.
It's not going to be Barry Robson, I think.
No, I think that the best that he could do is possibly to the end of the season. I think they're looking for somebody, with experience, with big broad shoulders, that can handle being that Aberdeen manager and handle the expectancy of the fans. So, unfortunate for Neil Lennon, I think he was linked to a few of them. He doesn't come back into the country until April. And that might rule him out of a couple of jobs. So, yeah, but it'll be interesting to see who they get in. Barry Robson, if he keeps winning games, I've said it a few times. He's not only in the shop window for Aberdeen, he's in the shop window for other chairmen and owners who maybe a vacancy comes up and they think to themselves, I like Barry Robson at Aberdeen, done well with him, won a few games. Let's give him an opportunity. So Barry's holding the fort at the minute, but I don't think he's going to be a long-term answer at Aberdeen.
Yeah, okay, up at Dingwall, it's hear-em, scare-em time now, Ruffy. Somebody's going to have to make a charge from the pack. Ross County against Motherwell. If Ross County were to win this one, suddenly they're dead level with Motherwell in 27 points.
Yeah, and Motherwell will look at it the other way. If they win it, they'll see there's a bit of a gap appeared as well. So it's an interesting one. I think it's one we'll all have our eyes on. I just think Ross County will be buoyant with the 4 goals against Dundee United. I know it was only Dundee United, but it's a win in front of your home fans. I thought Motherwell were a wee bit fortunate last week against Kilmarnock. I think they got that goal late on, a fantastic goal it was to say, but I just think Ross County have got something again. They always seem to have it at this time of the year, particularly in their home games. They seem to be able to just get a result, and I think they'll do that tomorrow. I think I've went Ross County to win 2-1.
I think Brophy could be a key man for them, Peter. I think that he was brilliant at Kilmarnock. It was a strange move for him to go from Kilmarnock to St Mirren, to be honest. Obviously he get a good deal. Never done it at all at St Mirren, a lot of injury problems. Goes to Ross County, 2 goals, 2 assists, scored in his debut. 2 goals and 2 assists against Dundee United last week. So if he's back to his best, Brophy, there's no many better strikers doing that bottom 3 or 4 clubs than him.
Yeah,
and they found a way to play 2 strikers.
Him and Jordan White.
They found a way, whereas all the other teams down the bottom are maybe playing with 1 striker.
Yeah.
He's taking the chance of shuffling his side a bit, and he's got 2 strikers who are really confident just now.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Ross County. What about you?
I think there's going to be a lot of goals in it, but I'm going to go for 2 each.
2 each, okay. Just with that in mind, you know, Stuart Kettlewell, day by day, is finding out the strengths and weaknesses of the players, and I think he's of the opinion that he's going to try and change it depending on the opposition.
Will be flexible. I will select the right team that I think is on each merit, you know, in terms of who you're playing against and what the task is that faces you. So that's not to say that won't change at some point, but I don't also believe in change just for the sake of change.
Okay, did we do Dundee United Aberdeen, by the way? I mean,
Score.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dundee United. I'm going to go Dundee United to Aberdeen, a draw, 1 each.
So I've went 1 each as well.
Well, I'm going to go for Jim Goodwin to get off to a flyer and give it the boom to the Aberdeen fans.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to United.
Yeah, you know, the other thing about it as well, when the opposition fans are at Tannerise,
Right on top of you.
they're right on top of that
top of you.
dugout.
Oh.
So if he wins, the walk is still going to be.
Does he give it a Neil Lennon?
Hey? No.
Does he give it that?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you do, Ruffy? If you're you know what we're like. We love a noise up.
I'd
you know,
love
but
it.
what do you do?
I'd get Mourinho against Porto Man United right up the touchline.
Yeah.
Boom.
I don't think Jim would do that.
No, I don't
really
think he will. He wouldn't do that. He won't. He's got a bit of dignity about him there. I mean, he'd crunch you if you were you're on the park, but I don't think he'd do that. It's a good noise up though, isn't it? It's a great chance if he
Just
does
when
win.
he turns around, you just give him a wee
Just
look.
look at them.
Yeah, what would you do, Ruffy, if it was you?
Just turn around and give him a wee look.
A wee a smile?
A wee smile, a wee smile.
Brilliant, Ruffy.
I would do if I'd do a Jose Mourinho right up the touchline.
Would you?
I'd sprint right up the corner flag.
Yeah.
Giving it. You know what's.
Yeah. Do you know what, Tom? I mean, I think about it and there's a contrast here. I know, Ruffy, he'd give it a wee smile, you'd give it a... What do you think I'd do, Ruffy?
Depends on what manner you left the club.
Yes.
I think if you thought you were really shafted, then I think you might respond.
Yeah. What do you think I would do just under normal circumstances?
But maybe not as bad as Tam, but sort of an in-between.
Yeah, well, no, I'd be you, Tom. I'd be right up there giving it what for, by the way. But
that's part of the game. That's part of the game I loved.
Part of
the game I loved. It used to get dogs abuse half of fans. And I used to just have it in my head, just want to score here, just want to score.
Yeah. And
as soon as I scored, the first thing I done was right to the away fans.
Yeah.
Get it right.
I'm never annoyed with anybody.
What happens at the end if you get beat?
I don't care, I just had my moment anyway.
Yeah. You did
I just put my head in the front half.
You did that at Ibrox, didn't you?
I did.
Did you lose that game?
Yeah, we did.
But it was a good goal.
You beat 5-2.
Yeah, 5-2 was
Missed
it?
a penalty as well.
You did, but your goal was an absolute
The volley,
peach.
missed a penalty at 2 each.
You remember that volley, Ruffy?
I think I've seen it on.
I think
it's
it's an absolute
third in the SPL history.
Aye, okay. Nothing like just reminding us of all of your youth trophy.
Wasn't many.
And your nominations.
I'm going to get them in.
Get them in. Absolutely, Tom. Quite right. Okay, so we've got that. I've got the draw for that, Dundee United Aberdeen. What about Livingston against Hibs? This is an interesting one because Livingston dominated it last season out of the 4 games. This season it's a win apiece, but it's back on that surface.
Mm-hmm. And this is a test for Hibs. I mean, we all keep saying, oh, they're on a charge, you know, and a lot of people are saying, oh, we're going to catch Hearts and all that. And this is the kind of game, if you're going to go, I think, catching Hearts, you've got to go there and win.
Yeah.
You've got to go there and fight it out and get the breaks that are going and come away with 3 points. I'm not bought into it that they are on a charge. And Livingston's not the place you want to go to anyway, you know, to win a game. So I think David Martindale will be smarting a wee bit with some of the performance that he's had recently. I think he'll be giving his players a wee earful, you know. So I'm going to sit in the fence in this one and go for 1 each.
Yeah, well, Livingston have the last 3 games, I don't think he's been able to put his finger on why they've just kind of lost a bit of form, but he's still confident they've got enough to get into the top half of the table.
Confident we can get top 6, I think. Still fighting relegation at this point. Really, I am in my head. I'm still talking about relegation. But on one hand, if we win the game in hand, we've got over some clubs, not every club. We'd be sitting 4th in the Premier League. So, on one hand, you're looking at what's below you, and on the other hand, you're looking at what's above you.
Yeah, I mean that's the dilemma, and that's the nature of this league, isn't it? 2 bad results, and suddenly you're looking downwards.
Yeah, and that's why it's difficult for Livingston to retain their better players, because they never know what division they're going to be in, never know if they're safe, they're going to be in the top 6, they're going to get extra money, you know. So I don't think Livingston will be in any trouble at all. Relegation wise, they'll pick up plenty of points at home, but I don't think they'll pick up any tomorrow. I'd fancy Hibs strongly in this game actually. I think Hibs are starting to click, Kukarevich and Nisbet are both back. Whether the risks them on that pitch, I don't know. But they're back. Obviously, Aidan McGeady is out, but nah, I'd fancy Hibs strongly. I just think there's something about them now. They've got a wee bit of momentum, and I think they can go. I think they can go there in front of a big Hibs travelling support and get 3 points.
Well, the bad news is Aidan McGeady's out for the rest of the season. 4 to 6 months on the sideline expected, and after you see another specialist and you look at it and it needs surgery on that hamstring injury, it's a blow. Nisbet and of course Kukarevich will return.
Yeah, listen, Aidan McGeady, that's a huge blow. It's a huge blow for him, for his career. You know, at 36-year-old, you know, is he going to come back for this? Hamstrings, getting operations at 36 on your muscles. You know, it's going to be difficult for him to come back and be in full flow. Kukarevich and Nisbet, if it was on grass, I think both of them would have probably played, but it's on that AstroTurf. Well, Nisbet's done his cruciate, and Kukarevich has been out injured as well. I don't know if he risks him. So he's starting to get players back, but that's the main thing. And I fancy them to go and beat Livingston.
Yeah, here's the manager of Hibs, Lee Johnson, paying tribute to the late Ron Gordon. I think a nice touch by the Hibs boss on this one. And he basically says, we have all felt the pain of losing a wonderful man and leader. Our hearts go out to Kit, Colin, Ian and Callie and the wider Gordon family. My relationship with Ron was a fantastic one, and I know how proud he was of all the staff at Easter Road and HTC. Hibs have a big enough draw for me as a fantastic historic club playing in a great league, but in football and management circles there's a quote that you pick your club and your owner. The support I received on and off the pitch, not only from Ron but from Kit, Ian and Callie, shows the class and values. One of the beauties of our relationship was that we were fully aligned in our long-term vision, and now we must continue Ron's vision and his dream to take Hibs to new levels. I know we will do it for the Gordons and the Hibs family. Nice touch by Lee Johnson there, Tam.
Yeah, it was. Listen, it's really, really sad news for everyone associated with Hibs and his family. And listen, I'm just hoping that Hibs can honour him tomorrow and get 3 points. I think there'll be a minute's silence at the game, or a minute's applause, and I'm sure the fans will pay tribute to him. But you know, listen, his long-term plan was to see Hibs challenging the Old Firm and finishing third and getting into Europe. So listen, hopefully they can see that vision through in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, we sent Adam Binney out there to the Hibs training centre today.
Thanks, Peter. I'm at the Hibernian Training Centre this afternoon for Lee Johnson's manager's press conference ahead of their trip to the Tony Macaroni Arena to face Livingston tomorrow. It's the first time that the Hibs boss has spoken since the sad passing of their executive chairman and owner Ron Gordon. So here's Lee Johnson paying tribute to the man that brought him to Easter Road.
Yeah, it's been really tough. You know, it was a shock, I suppose, initially. For most, and myself included, even though I knew the severity of the situation, I was still shocked because I'd seen Ron just a few days earlier in great spirits, and I think that sums him up, you know, that sort of fight, that charisma, that attitude, if you like, to carry on. And it is devastating news. It's been a tough spell. We're all grieving, there's no doubt on that. He was our owner, he was our leader. For me, on a personal level, he was fantastic. You know, who motivates the motivator? It was Ron. So in bad spells, it's important that you have honest, robust conversations, but you also feel that support, if you like, and care both ways. And that was really, really strong between not just myself and Ron, but myself and the family, and add Ben Kensel in that as well. So
Johnson went on to say that the tragic passing has made him even more determined to deliver success to this football club, just as Ron Gordon had strived for in his 4 years at the club.
Our thoughts naturally moved straight towards the Gordon family and anybody that was in Ron's life for a long time. At the same time, I suppose I feel even a more sort of added, what would I say, power, if you like, to continue that legacy that Ron wanted, to put trophies in the cabinet, because we know all the work we've done, and I wanted to see it through for him, and I wanted to see that success. I wanted him to see the success, but now that'll obviously live on through his legacy and his family.
Here's the Hibs financial figures that have been released, and it just shows you how difficult it is unless you've got someone who has got the club at heart, Ruffy. Hibs posted a £1.5 million net loss, up from 870,000 in the previous year. Turnover up 39% from 8.5 million to 11.9, and that's obviously the fans returning in great numbers after COVID. The League Cup semi-final in last season's the League Cup final in last season's Scottish Cup semi, an operating loss of 3.5 million compared to half a million profit in last year's financial results. And at the moment, Hibs have only received 500,000 from the sale of Martin Boyle to Al Faisali last year. There's not going to be a Q&A at next week's AGM, but clearly, a lot of clubs are posting losses and having to work out how they're going to get that money in.
Yeah, I don't think people realise that COVID was a big hit for everybody. Financially, we know fans coming into the grounds, the players most of them were all on the same wages and everything. The clubs had to cover everything that was out there with the contracts and everything. So yeah, you need an owner who, delved in, and he did, and I think you can tell by the manager the close contact they had with the owner. And I think it's always important that if you and the owner are not best pals, but you're on the same wavelength, you've got a chance when things aren't going particularly well.
Yeah, what did you go for this one?
I went one each.
2-1
Hibs.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Hibs as well, Tam. I agree with you on that one. Hearts against St Johnstone. Hearts sitting third. Hibs closely behind them, just 5 points behind in that battle for third. I wonder if anyone else is going to come into that equation as we get ever closer to the split and beyond. Let's find out what Robbie Neilson had to say today at the Oriam with Kerry Pollock.
This weekend, Hearts will host at Johnston in the hopes of extending their lead in third. Robbie Neilson says so far this season things have been going well, and says that his side still have their eyes on some silverware.
Look, we've had some real good performances. We've had ones we've need to improve on. I think, having that European campaign, group stage football, first time in 16, 17 years, to be sitting where we are at the moment, clearing third in the quarter-final of Scottish Cup has been a decent season so far, but there's still a lot more to play for. We've got 12 games in the league to try and cement that third place, and then we'd like to get to another cup final and take a step forward and try and win it this time.
As for Barry Mackay, he says the criticism he's faced has been unfair, as teams this season have made it a lot harder for him to showcase his talent.
If you look at my performances from this season to last season, you've not seen much difference in the way that I'm actually playing. Just last season, that every time I put the ball in the box or I played it behind, it was a goal, so it was an assist. Everybody in this country looks at the negative, and that's the first thing they see, is that he's not getting an assist, he's not scoring goals. But I've scored more goals, I've still had assists this year, so I don't know what. Maybe I've not played well every game, but I never played well every game last year. But everybody was saying that I was doing so well last year, and then obviously it's added pressure. But I think this year teams maybe haven't let me have the same space that they had let me have last year. So there's 3 people on me, and it's completely different. I think that's for all the team as well.
Will the Gorgie side be extending their lead in third, or will St Johnstone be pushing for the top 6? It all takes place at Tynecastle this Saturday, 3 o'clock.
What do you make of that line, Tom?
I don't think he's been anywhere near as good this season as it was last season.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I've seen him a couple of times with Hearts. I thought he was outstanding last season. We were in a show at points last season talking about him as Player of the Year. In terms of his goals and assists, I don't think he's been anywhere near that level this season. He's been in and out the team as well in recent weeks. So, listen, he'll believe that he's still playing, a similar, to a similar level. But from what I've seen, I don't think he is.
Yeah, Tam, I know, mentioned the fact that Hibs could still close in on them in a transitional season. I still think they've got too many good players. I think they'll be too good for St Johnstone. I've got them to win this one 3-1, Ruffy. But, Callum Davis has clearly said to his players, listen, 40 points and we'll be safe.
No, I think Hearts were fortunate enough to have that wee break last week. I thought they were not in a massive wobble, but they weren't playing to the consistency they were playing. They were still winning games, but sort of just scraping through them, so that might just give them the break that they need. Again, I don't think St Johnstone have got much to offer away from home. So I think I went for Hearts as well. I think I went for Hearts 2-0.
Yeah.
2-0 Hearts.
2-0, okay. Still keeping their advantage over Hibs. You can give us your view on it, and as ever, we always like to see, I haven't seen it in quite a while, Tam, but we do value you hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notifications as well, hit the bell, and you'll get all the notifications of when we're on live, and of course all the new unique content that we have, because Adam Binney was out there talking to Sam Wardrop. I think he's a really good TikToker, talking about helping kids, exercising, training drills, football skills. It really is a good piece with Adam and Sam, and it's on our YouTube channel. I've got a one-to-one with Alan Burrows for Motherwell fans to look back on his time there, 16 years at Fir Park, and for Aberdeen fans to see what the new chief executive has in mind on the way forward at Pittodrie. So it really was great sitting down with him for that full hour, and Kerry caught up with Lawrence Shanklin as well and got his thoughts on the season, of course scoring goals, trying to keep pace with Kyogo in the goal scoring charts in the league as well. So there's lots of great content and lots of stuff coming up that I'm absolutely certain you will enjoy. And we always say that if you watch the programme, you can subscribe, share the programme on YouTube channel, and if you are on watching us live between 4 and 5 o'clock, you can engage with fellow fans. Of course, the majority of you do engage in a positive way and like a bit of banter, but there are some nutcases out there, and we always like to mention, remember, this is not the show for you if you want to try and say anything using profanities, or indeed make comments that are in
single cell amoebas.
That's it, Tam, from biology. Never forget it.
Biology higher. You know what an amoeba is, Ruffy?
Yeah, well, there's 3 of them I spotted on this feed, but nevertheless, we try and ban anyone that really descends into the gutter on the programme. We like our football fans, Ruffy. Yes. That's the great thing. And we meet them all over the place.
We do, and I have to say that 100% of them have been very nice to us.
Yeah.
You know, nothing controversial or anything. If they've got something to say, they say it, and we just have a wee chat with them.
That's weird, because the people I speak to love the show and all that, but they're not too keen on Ruffy. And that's the only thing that they ever say to me.
Is
about
absolutely.
Ruffy.
I did see someone on there saying, wouldn't it be great if we all had a PLZ night out with some of the people who are on the chat? And I it's an interesting one, because I think 99% of the people who are on it would be a right good night out, Ruffy. But the 1% that I always cane, if you wonder what they look like, I think it's from the opening scene when Han Solo and Luke Skywalker with Obi-Wan Kenobi in the bar are trying to hire the Millennium Falcon. It's the only way I can sum it up, Ruffy, for people who really upset more or less people who want to talk about football. We love you in the banter. We don't mind getting hammered, Tam, don't we not?
No, we don't mind. I mean, people hammer me for seeing I played in America.
Did you?
I did, actually.
Well, that's
Portland.
absolutely fantastic. It's
Colorado.
actually
Beautiful place, by the way.
Portland?
Yeah.
No,
Colorado.
No Portland.
No, it's actually
You've seen
getting
Portland?
to the point
No.
now where there's a bookies bet on it now. People are actually looking for the time on the programme when he mentions it, just to see if they can win it. And there's a boy here says to us, he's actually called Blackadder. He says, name the place and time, Peter. Not sure if that's for the party or for a square goal, but nevertheless, I enjoy the comment. Thank you to so much, and so many of you, for joining us on the programme and giving us your thoughts. That's the Scottish Premiership. Of course, in the Championship, Ruffy, you still think Thistle will make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think they've got really important games coming up. Raith Rovers tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would have been a good win to keep the momentum going. It's closed up a wee bit now.
7 points separating the top 5.
I mean, it's amazing, you know. I mean, I know the 2 at the top don't have a game in hand, but
Morton, Queen's Park tomorrow.
Ayr and Morton have a game in hand, so it's going to be really, really tight, and wins are all, aren't they?
Yeah, are they going to make it?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I think this is a good year to make it.
Back to the Premier League?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Do you think there's a squad there to do it?
Yeah,
think
to
Chris
get there.
could get something out of them that Ian McCall couldn't?
No, see, I don't go along with that theory.
I just thought I'd throw it at you.
If you look at the Rangers,
touchy.
If you look at the if you look at the Rangers game with Partick Thistle, McCall got everything. Everything out of these players and more, you know, so it's the same team, it's the same players. I don't think any of them down tools. A couple of bad results at home, but so is everybody else in that league. So for me, it's still Ian's players, you know, trying to do it for him.
Okay, down south, there's no doubt about it. If you look at the fixtures on offer in the English Premier League, this is what you can look forward to. Man City against Newcastle United, oof, that's a cracker. Chelsea against Leeds United, Arsenal Bournemouth, Aston Villa Crystal Palace, Brighton take on West Ham United, Wolves against Tottenham, Southampton Leicester, Nottingham Forest Everton. Look at that game. Liverpool against Manchester United, and then Brentford against Fulham on the Monday. But Liverpool against Manchester United, undoubtedly this game is an absolute cracker. I'm really looking forward to watching that as well. And you just wonder about United, 6 points behind Man City, 11 points behind Arsenal, ahead of the kick-off in that game. It's going to be a cracker. Here's what both managers make of it.
And where they are, they turned into a result machine. They squeeze results out. They have really good performances, top football. And if it's not going that well, they still get results. So that's why you are there. They are fully, everybody knows it, they're fully in the fight for winning the league. But again, not really important for tomorrow, for Sunday.
Of course, a test, but we facing Liverpool, and we're really looking forward. And I know these players, my squad, my team, will be prepared to go and fight and to go with confidence. But we know it's going to be difficult.
That's going to be a great game, and I think too the sides are in really good fun, really good form fun, really good form. There'll be no fun at that one. Really good form, both of them. I think Liverpool are just getting into the zone again. I fancy them to nick it 2-1.
No, I fancy Man United strongly.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I don't think Liverpool are. I think Man U will beat them.
Yeah. Okay.
4-0.
Yeah, okay. You'll not be going to the PLZ party with the rest of the punters. You're the type of guy I'm talking about.
I think it'll be a draw. I think Man United are doing particularly well, and I agree that Liverpool are getting better, but I still don't think they're the Liverpool of old, and I don't think they'll. I would think they might struggle to get into Europe this year.
Yeah, Liverpool.
Yeah.
What if
Top
they?
four.
What if?
Top four.
Yeah. What if they win the Champions League? Just go straight in.
No, they won't win the Champions League.
No.
Did you watch that first leg?
Eh? I know. I just thought I said to him. I know.
5-2.
I know. I just said to him. There could be a.
I told you.
I know.
I said it earlier. I would walk in here naked or in my pants if Liverpool won it.
Yeah.
And my pants are safe.
Yes, absolutely.
So the viewers have seen that.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. Okay, the quiz question that we put to you all is: what is Liverpool's biggest ever derby victory over Manchester United?
6-0, I said.
And look what I did, Ruffy. I put that there so that he would read
I swear I didn't see that, Peter.
See,
I didn't. I do.
Size of it.
I do look at the note. I didn't see that. I was just a complete guess.
Was it?
Honestly, I took 7-1 or 6-0.
Yeah, it was 7-1 in 1895.
There you go. And why did you were at the game? How could you not get that?
Yeah, Kenny scored 2. 1895. So I think it was the first time they actually played against each other.
Wow.
That's 7-1. What a game that was, eh? That would be absolutely fantastic. Thanks to so many people who had a wee guess at it. But as ever, Tam gets it right. He's quite happy with it, Ruffy. If he's honest enough,
it was a complete guess.
If he's honest enough, and he says he didn't see it, then fine. Ruffy, I must admit, I really enjoyed myself last night because, as you know, I do quite a lot for the Celtic FC Foundation, which is again an organisation which is basically with a group of people in it who organise events to try and help people who, from food banks to autism to Down syndrome, which was last night. And it doesn't matter what denomination you are, race, creed or colour, the Celtic FC Foundation on these charity nights, I get a chance to go out there and try and raise money for them, and it was a good night last night. Ange Postecoglou was in the fine forum, just chatting to him, having a laugh with him, and I think, it was one of those nights where we raised a hell of a lot of money. Yeah, it's ongoing as well, and you just see, the outcome of the money that's raised, where it goes, and it's really, really worthwhile.
You know, they really look after the public, and it's not necessarily fans of their own. It's anybody.
No, it's anybody.
Anybody at
believe
all.
me.
Yep, anybody at all, and it's a fantastic organisation.
Yeah, and Eddie McConnell last night was standing up there talking on behalf of the Down syndrome group and thanking the foundation for all the help that they've given them as well. And they do, put it out to worthy causes. And there is actually a couple of days during the week where people who are struggling to pay the bills and get food can go in, share their problems, have a cup of tea, have something to eat, Tam. It's like a drop-in centre at Celtic Park, and I just think it's a fantastic idea. And by the way, I mentioned the fact that I just do that to try and raise the money in the auction and have a good noise up with people. Lots of clubs everywhere, all step up to the plate.
Yeah, they are. I think that listen, the clubs are at the heart of the community, and they're a big part of people's lives, and people are struggling at the minute. The cost of living is going through the roof. So if there's somewhere for you to go and you can go and get, as I said, a cup of tea, something to eat, a bit of chat with fellow supporters or whoever, and a roof over your head, then that's brilliant. I think Hibs are doing it as well. As you said, different clubs are all doing it. They're trying to give something back to the fans, and they've got to be commended on that. Whichever club it is, you've got to be commend them.
Yeah. You're on tomorrow, Tam?
Yes, I am.
You've got a wee Saturday off where Ruffy's going to come in, and obviously Ruffy's under real pressure because he's going to have to be really, really funny on the Saturday because we have that kind of a relaxed atmosphere.
We've got that. We have got that, and Ruffy, you and Ruffy just haven't they?
Yeah, it's quite... It's quite scathing. It's a more relaxed atmosphere. Although I'll tell you, Ruffy, he's in his first year at it. We had it for a good 8 or 9 years in that studio on a Saturday afternoon. I've never laughed so much in all my life at some of the things that went on.
It's good. Some of the stuff.
Apart from your dog dying, that was not a good day.
That was horrendous.
Yeah, but there's been other ones.
It's terrible.
What about the day? That's not really a good one, by the way.
I'll start crying in a minute.
Yeah. What about the day? What about the day Maka had a sore ankle and he
come back.
And he took some
painkillers.
Then his face started to and I saw his whole face was going down. I'm thinking, Maka, I don't mind going viral, but not with you having to resuscitate him. I thought he'd popped his clogs that day.
Yeah, I think he openly admitted taking just one too many.
Yeah, absolutely, and the tablets. Anyway, apart from anything else, here's the competition. You still get time.
It's another fantastic competition from PLZ Soccer. Rangers fans, Celtic fans recognise this jersey. Of course, you've played against them both in European football recently. It's the jersey of RB Leipzig. You can win this by answering the following simple question. What does the RB stand for in RB Leipzig? If you want to double your chances of winning, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that competition. It's not the answer you think it is, if that helps you in the final day, because we'll throw it out tomorrow. And then, of course...
a lot of people getting that one wrong, by the way.
A lot of people getting it wrong, but you've got a few chances to get in there. And if you hit the subscribe button as well, please, not only here on the YouTube channel, but if you go onto our website, there's lots of great content there, and on the app, there's the breaking football news, and you can watch the programme on your phone as well. So, from Tam, from Ruffy and myself, don't forget to join us tomorrow morning. Tam and Ruffy will be with Kerry Pollock on her Saturday preview show, and then Tam and I will be back in the afternoon. Thanks for watching.